Mr. Kenny Thurman here, was the gentleman who contacted me about the ToneShield. And the beautiful thing about it is, Kenny, being the sound man that he is, had actually done some shows with me at 3rd and Lindsley back years and years ago. And he was one of the first sound men that kept coming up to me going, "Hey boy, would you turn it down a little bit? You bleed my ears there, son," you know. And of course, joking with me, but trying to be, you know, the good sound man and saying, "Look, man, just please." But he was the nicest sound man I ever saw in doing that. But he also understood me as a guitar player in that when you have the amp of your choice, you have to set it a certain way to get your tone. And so he was, obviously many years later, when Kimmy and I, my wife and I, moved up here, Kenny said, "Man, there's a gentleman named Mark Macario, and you have to get in touch with him and learn about his product called the ToneShield." Well, needless to say, that happened just a few days after Kenny told me about it. And it has been a life-changing experience for me. All of the problems that I've had with sound men over the years have completely gone away now because of the amazing, well, I guess just the fact that the product is so amazing. It makes my life on stage even greater as an artist, because even if my amp is close to me, the tone comes up at me. And then, of course, that beam of sound that comes out of either a 112 or 212 cabinet is not directly hitting everybody in the first 5 rows and killing the sound man. So, frankly, man, the ToneShield has been an answer to a prayer for me for a lot of years. And so I definitely take this opportunity and thank Kenny and Brother Mark for blessing my life, because it has eliminated a lot of my problems. And now I can actually do my show and play to my potential and have a great show, and no, I'm not hurting anybody in the first 5 rows or making the sound man angry at me. And therefore the folks can actually come down front, be more of a part of the show with me, and it just makes the whole experience more fun. So I'm very, very thankful for the ToneShield and what it has done for my life and career. And it's one of those you know, products that I cannot live without now. So I'm very, very grateful for sure.
I even use it at my house.
I do too.
I do. When I'm just in the studio trying to learn Johnny licks, I really, it's just, you know, just because of the redirection and the dispersion, yes. It doesn't color your tone in any way. It actually makes it sound better because it's everywhere instead of just a beam. So,
well, how many times, Kenny, you know this from obviously being a great guitar player yourself, along with being a sound man, you know when you're standing on a tight stage and you got your amp blowing at the back of your legs,
yep,
you're not hearing anything.
No.
With the ToneShield in front, you're able to actually hear your tone coming up at you, and you know that that beam of sound is not blasting everybody in the front row, you know.
Right now.
So it's amazing, man. It's truly, it's just amazing. There's no other word to describe it.
No, my guitar player that's on the road with us in Phil's band, he's 6'4".
Wow.
And a lot of times he, you know, would put his amp a little closer to him. He doesn't, a lot of guitar players don't understand that, you know, having your amp closer to you and turning it up, even though his amp is in a road case and not at his calf level,
right,
it's still going right by him. So I took him a ToneShield and he absolutely flipped out over it. He was like, I've never heard my guitar like that, you know, as close to me. And needless to say, it made me a lot happier.
I'm sure, man,
and he's possibly louder than you are.
Good gracious.
Yeah. And so it was a total game changer for us on stage.
Well, I must say, man, I was certainly known by many sound men across the country and around the world for being one of the loudest guitar players. There's nothing worse than being on stage and feeling your sound but not hearing your sound.
Yep.
The other thing that was very hard for me is I'm a legally blind artist, and if I can't see my audience and then I'm only feeling my tone, I'm not hearing my tone, man, my night's crushed, dude. You might as well just shut me off and send me home, you know.
Big difference. And, you know, most people don't understand that it takes several feet for sound to unfold.
That's right.
When it comes out of your cabinet. And a lot of times I'll laugh at you know, a bass player that's standing in front of an Ampeg 810 cabinet.
Yeah, man.
And you know, turning up going, I just
man.
can't hear anything. And
Yeah.
my thing is, well, if you take that cabinet and move it 10 feet behind you, then you will hear probably more than you want to hear of it.
Kenny, I don't know if you've seen this yet or not, brother.
Uh-oh, here we
All
go.
right, so here is the ToneShield. And, of course, this is one of mine, so you're not having it. Teasing. But I will say this, man. It was so amazing because when I was flying to the NAMM show this past January, you know, putting this part in my suitcase, you know, the way that Mark has these built, or the way he builds them, it's indestructible.
It is.
But it's you know, it's pretty beastly. You need that to be able to hold the platform in place in front of your amp. But it was funny because I said, Brother Mark, I said, I don't know if I can pack this in my suitcase. There is a limit to how much you can lug in your suitcase now with Southwest and any other airline.
50 pounds.
Yeah, 50 pounds. So he said, hey, brother, he said, you know, let me come over tomorrow. I'll bring something to help you. So he sets that aside the next day, and if you will hold that, he comes the next day, and gosh, Mark, I don't know if I can reach it. Oh, there it is. I got it. He comes the next day, and he said, brother, got something where you can put this in your suitcase. And I said, you're kidding. He said, no, man. And he said, this will be perfect for NAMM shows. Look at the size of this, man. Look at this. So now...
I didn't know this existed.
Now you pull this out like this.
Wow.
There's feet on the bottom of it. And then, of course, open the ToneShield up and slide it in.
Wow, look at that.
It's amazing, man. I mean...
Unbelievable.
I mean, how awesome is that?
Now, that's pretty cool. How come I don't have one of these?
I told Mark he needs to call this the Traveler.
Yeah, exactly. That's the perfect name for it.
On the website, but the reason why it's designed like this is because if you're playing outside and you have a windy condition,
Oh, yeah.
that's going to fall over.
Well, sure.
This is designed so that it won't fall.
This
is designed for more control.
Sure, that is amazing.
But see, man, you take this, you put the elastic around it, put it in your suitcase, and then literally fold the legs in on this guy and stick it in.
Wow.
That weighs nothing.
Wow.
Big difference, right?
Huge difference. That's
so
amazing.
All I can say, you know, folks, if you're watching this video and you're going, I really want a ToneShield, and you go to the website, you buy one. What you have to realize is when you purchase a ToneShield, you're not only buying the product, you're buying a relationship with Brother Mark. As an artist that works with him on a daily basis, and being in the same town he is such an amazing man in that he cares about all us guitar players and how our shows are going, how we're feeling when we play, how we're feeling our tone, how we're hearing our tone. And why is that? Because Brother Mark's a great guitar player too.
Right, and
he understands.
That's what makes the difference.
So
he is a guitar player.
When I called him and said, Brother Mark, I'm traveling, dude, I don't know if I can take that bass, he made this for me. He fixed the problem. And so he does really care about what we have to go through because he is a great player himself. So a part of what you're buying, guys, is the fact that you then have the relationship, that you become part of the ToneShield family. And Brother Mark does care for you at that point and wants you to have the best ToneShield experience. That's one thing I can honestly say about Mark and the company. You know, his product is not just a product, it's becoming a vast family. And so I would strongly encourage any guitar player watching this to definitely take the plunge and get into a ToneShield, because the minute you experience it for yourself, you will never, ever, whether you're home, you're doing a Facebook Live like I do in your living room, no matter what the case, you're always going to have the ToneShield with you, because it does change how you play. It does change your whole experience when you perform. And so that's all I have to say about it. It's simply a life-changing product that you will not stop using the minute you get it and try it for the very first time. And I think Kenny can agree with me.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. I was going to say, compare this to the Plexi Shields that everybody uses, which, you know, you have the front of your amp, then you have a plexiglass shield in front of it. Well, that's
just blocking everything.
That's it. And there's no redistribution or any to help shape the sound. It's literally blocking what
I actually have videos of me, Kenny, where, of course, Soundman's mad at me. So I have a video of me playing where they literally brought out a flight case and put it in front of my rig.
Yep.
So here I am legally blind. If I back up and fall over that case,
Right.
they didn't care. The sound man wanted full control over my tone.
Right.
So he didn't want me that loud. So the only thing he had access to was a road case.
I've done it myself.
I'm sure.
I have.
So, frankly, I cannot rave enough about how awesome this product is. And like I said, it's something I will not live without. And the other cool thing, Kenny, as you know, is, man, when you slide the ToneShield into the bass, I mean, goodness gracious, man, you slide it in the back of your amplifier, and you're good to go, man.
Done.
It takes literally seconds to wrap the cable around it, put it in the back of your amp, and you're good to go, man. It's not like you have to, you know, go out to the car again and bring in extra gear.
Yeah,
no, this is in the back of your amp cab.
That's where I store mine.
Yeah. I mean, it's not.
It does.
It's incredible.
You know, most of the time, I don't get to play out too often, only when I'm home, but we have this open mic at Two Witches Brewery. And so through Johnny's help, well, you've seen my new pedal board. It's small, fits right on top of my amp due to the limited amount of space that we have on the stage down there.
Yes.
So it literally takes me, including setting up the ToneShield, about 90 seconds to set my rig up. I put my amp in place, I put the ToneShield in place, set my pedal board on top of it, plug in two things, my rig is ready. And literally it takes no time to set it up. And it's a very small stage.
Right.
And we used to have a problem with volume down there and the people in the first few rows getting killed.
Sure.
And then one day I walked in and there was Cameron Owen playing with this piece of oddly shaped plexiglass, and I said, "What in the world is that, Cameron?"
Right.
And he told me all about it. And knowing and understanding sound, how it moves and everything like I do, I saw the shape of it. So if your amp is on the stage and without a ToneShield, it's obviously just blowing right through the crowd.
Yes.
And so the guy on the stage right side, if you're stage left, he's not really hearing you unless he has you in his monitor. Put a ToneShield in front of it, and the cone in the middle, the way it redirects, it sends it out left and right and also up. So now everybody on the stage can actually hear what you're playing. It's amazing.
The funny thing is, man, I did it. One of the first experiences I had with the ToneShield was I did a clinic down in Atlanta. Of course, the sound man's one of these guys with an iPad running around trying to get our monitors and everything. He looks at my rig as I'm setting it up, and the first thing you can see him back there just with his hand on his chin, and he's going, "Oh boy, this is not going to be fun." Most sound men, you know, if they don't know the artist and they see this big rig come in, they're like, "Oh Lord," you know. But anyway, I could tell he was already gathering his assumptions of how this was going to be. And then I put both ToneShields in front of my 212s. And I do keep, when you play a 212 cabinet, it's really kind of nice if you have one for each speaker. So I put both of my ToneShields out, and we did sound check. And the first thing he did was start walking to the stage. "I like that. I like that. What is that?" And I had to tell him. I said, "Brother," I said, it's been an answer to a prayer for me. And I can't say it, you know, enough, man. It's just, it's literally laughable when you first try it, because you're like, no, that thing ain't gonna do what everybody says it's gonna do.
It's amazing. You have to. You actually have to experience it.
Yeah.
If you don't hear it for yourself, then you know you can't really explain it. You have to experience it for yourself.
Guys, I even will sit in the studio with Brother Kenny and be sitting right next to the amp and I have to have the ToneShield right there, because it redirects the sound right up to me instead of pushing out. You know, now granted, you can put, like Kenny and I are both Sennheiser guys. We love, you know, 906s for amps. You can still put an amp mic or anything you need in to mic your amp on stage. It doesn't affect any of that.
No.
And in fact, I think it kind of helps draw the sound directly into the mic. But then again, as an artist, you're not losing anything.
Right.
Your experience on stage is just amazing. And I remember calling Mark when I got home from my first gig with it, and I said, "Man, dude, just awesome. I mean, just absolutely awesome." And, you know, being legally blind, my ears are very sensitive. And I really cannot stand it as an artist being on stage and not being able to hear my tone. Hence the volume knob.
Right.
Crank it up.
Exactly.
Which does make sound men mad. So, frankly, this has really, been the answer to a prayer for me, in that I don't have any of those issues anymore. And for what that's worth, guys, I mean, there's your answer to that problem. If any of you guitar players out there watching have the same issue I have all your career and all my career, you need to get a ToneShield.
Yeah,
it's just as simple as that.
As a sound guy, that is the answer to a lot of prayers right there.
Kenny and I both have sat on my porch and laughed and laughed and laughed about how many times he, did sound on one of my shows. Boy, I wish we had this 20 years ago.
No kidding. Yeah.
And it's the truth. It really is the truth.
And I've been playing guitar for a long time, and it truly is, I think it's an innovation to the guitar industry.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've tried those plexiglass walls or having, flight cases moved in front of my rig or what have you. I mean, and of course, even downtown Nashville, they have those baffles that they made out of wood. It literally just blocks your tone and gives the artist no tonal experience whatsoever. It just completely blocks it, just so they can shove a mic down in there and the sound man can have full control. But it does nothing for the guitar player on stage.
No.
So the ToneShield actually does give you a better performance, a better experience on stage.
It actually does two things simultaneously. It stops the beam going, to the first 10 rows, and it gives you the option to hear your tone better on stage, because,
that's right.
Like I said, my guitar player is 6'4".
Wow.
So his tone is blowing right by his calves.
Yep.
And he's going, well, I wonder why I can't hear myself.
Right.
And I'm thinking to myself, well, you're 6'4" and your amp is, 14 inches tall. So you do the math.
Yep.
And literally the first time we stuck it in front of him, I can't actually repeat what he said, but he was very happy. And like I said, even at my house when I'm just sitting around,
you don't want to be without it, do you?
No, and I have 3 or 4 or 5 feet, standing in front of my amp. Well, I'm 6 feet tall, but it's still blowing right by my knees.
Yeah.
So when I'm standing in front of it, the sound is actually coming right up to both
Kenny,
my
do you
ears.
remember at Third back in the day? I always used an amp stand.
Yes.
I always had my amp angled up.
Right.
And I did that primarily so that the sound wouldn't beam right at the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
But even still, it was so loud, the sound was still beaming. It was just giving me some on stage.
Right.
But now I don't have to carry no amp stands with me. I can set the amp on the floor and actually hear my sound better than when I used an angled amp stand.
Right, and it's a lot easier on your whole process and your thought of how is this day going to go.
Right.
Takes all the anxiety of knowing the sound guy is going to come up and go.
Well, and I'm the cabinet player. I don't use a combo amp.
Right.
So for me, what scared me using the amp stands was my head was always on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
So if a crazed fan come up half drunk, dumped a beer down, where's it going to go? In my head.
Right.
Right? In the head, my amplifier head. Now with my amp set the way it's supposed to be, I don't have to worry about that. And of course, my sound is even better on stage with the ToneShield. So,
well, it has to be experienced to really get the full appreciation of what it actually does.
Yes.
But the redirection of the sound, stopping the beam, spreading it out left and right and up at the same time is, it's
mind-blowing.
It really is.
Now, when I play at home and do my Facebook Live shows, I have a little product called the Sound Enhancer, which blows an open back cabinet down through the enhancer. But I still have a ToneShield on the angled back sound enhancer.
Well, you're getting the increased low end that all guitar players love to hear. And
oh my gosh,
you can hear the high end now, so you're actually hearing all of your tone.
But it's just literally such an amazing experience for me, even sitting right with my amp right there, and I'm right here. It's, guys, it doesn't matter where your your ToneShield has to sit in the proper spot, but it doesn't really matter where you are on the stage or in your room. Whatever, you're going to want your ToneShield in front of your rig no matter what.
Yeah, actually, the other day we were at Two Witches Brewery playing the open mic, and I was standing stage right. My amp was stage left.
Oh, my goodness.
And to move over, just because of the small stage, I moved over just to have room enough to move.
Sure.
And I could still hear myself fine.
Wow.
And it was, when you walk away from your amp like that, you're out of the beam,
Yep.
and then you're instantly going, okay, I can't hear time, I can't hear tone, and so you're defeating the purpose of playing
Truly.
all at once. But honestly, I was standing stage right, and my amp was stage left, no problem whatsoever. And nobody said it was too loud.
Unbelievable.
That's the main thing, because I like to play loud too.
Oh, I do too, man.
I want to hear it.
It's incredible. I just, like I said, I can't say enough about how amazing the product is. And the man himself is sitting right here, Mr. Mark Picario. It's just incredible, man, that...
I noticed something that I don't have a ToneShield baseball hat, do you?
No. We need to have those.
Yeah,
My son got me this for Christmas.
I think they're going to have to make some.
Yes.
I'm working on it.
Yes.
They need to come with a ToneShield. There you go.
Oh, there you go.
I give one away free when you leave.
Oh, good. Because I wear I wear a hat just about every day.
Me too, brother. Me too.
But anyway,
I'll get you set up.
Joe, thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank
but
you.
yeah, honestly, great product, and we're not just saying this because Mark's a buddy of ours.
No,
but
we
you have
use
to
this
hear it
product.
to experience. I use it, and I'm not even I'm a sound guy. I just go out to play for fun.
I use it every day of my life.
Yeah, you do. And
There's
mine
no
is
doubt about it.
mine is set up in my studio in front of my amp right now.
And let me just say this, guys. Kenny and I are now doing live recordings on Facebook and soon to be YouTube. Even when we're doing those live recordings,
Yep.
ToneShield's there.
Yep.
It's just, it doesn't, it's a product that I use every day of my life. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So, I mean, I'm not sitting here bragging on a product that I just, love Brother Mark as a friend, which I do.
Yeah.
But literally, I do use this product every single day.
And he's not paying us to say this either.
No, we're literally here because we believe in this product.
Yep.
And like I said, it's been life-changing for me. So I'm just letting all of you guitar players out there know you need to buy a ToneShield today. No doubt about it.
Plexiglass in front of your amp cannot compare to what this does. Even though it's made of plexi, it's the way it's shaped and the way it moves everything around. You have to hear it.
Kenny, I mean, look at it, man. I mean, good gracious, brother. Look how like you said, you put it behind your amp. But I mean, when you set this thing up, even when it's not in front of an amplifier, man, it's a conversation piece in your house.
No doubt.
People are like, man, what is that thing, dude? Whoops, wrong slot. What is that thing, dude? Where does it go? What does it do? It's an amazing, I gotta say, Mark, I don't know how you come up with this design, brother, and how you really figured out how the sound was gonna disperse from your tone, no matter how loud you are. It's mind blowing, brother.
Well,
this thing is awesome.
if you're the amp, without the ToneShield, that's going straight
right to
up.
the sound guy.
Exactly. So think about it. When the sound hits this, it comes up right where you're at, and then it hits this and also gets redistributed left and right.
True.
So you can't,
sorry about that.
you can't.
Leave it to the blind guy to put it upside down.
So when it hits this in the middle.
Can use it backwards for like a month.
And you know what? I set mine up one time backwards in the studio just to see what it sounded
too.
like.
Yeah.
And actually, if you're playing by yourself, standing there, it works. It really does, because it throws everything at you. If I don't need it to go left and right, I will turn it around and throw it straight at my face if I'm facing my amp.
Kenny and I have tried it every which way but loose, man. But I mean, it's really, no matter how you use it, it's amazing.
Yeah,
it's an amazing product.
When it hits the middle here, where the fold is, well, not only does it throws it left and right, but it also comes up at the same time. And so you compare that to a piece of plexiglass that's just sitting in front of your amp.
Going straight.
Like that.
Yeah, it's not doing anything except bam.
It's bouncing right back off, right back towards the amp.
And it's kind of engulfing the microphone, which kind of in some regards is what a sound man kind of wants. But with this, you can put your microphone any which way you want.
Right.
In by your amplifier.
Yeah, because you still have 10 inches here to place a microphone.
Yeah, if you're with the camera guy here, if your amplifier is right up against this piece here, you're still having enough room to put a microphone in. Turn it this way for you so you can see it on this camera as well. But it's just amazing. You have this much room to get a microphone down in there.
And if you're recording, you still, a lot of guys will do, you know, I do 2 mics on a single amp, different microphones.
Sure.
So you still have a place to do both microphones.
You know what I did the other day, man, just having fun? I actually love a Sennheiser 906, so I had it down in close on one of my 12s, and then on the other ToneShield, I actually had just stuck like a room mic in between on the outside of both ToneShields, but it kind of, there was a spot like this far between each ToneShield on my 212. So I just put the ambient mic like right here.
Oh yeah.
Dude, it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was unreal.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So frankly, it's not limiting anything that you want to do.
No, not at all. There's plenty of room here because, like I said, the base of the amp and the top of the shield, you have.
And you know, if you have a fan that's really giving you a hard time, whap. I'm just kidding.
You're a funny man, Hiland.
That would hurt.
But yeah, you have to experience it. You have to hear it for yourself.
That's
but
right.
A piece of plexiglass, flat.
Actually, you wouldn't even
panel.
take this to hit the fan. You'd take that.
Yeah, exactly.
The big part.
But all kidding aside, the plexi, flat piece of plexi in front of an amp. You stick a mic in between the plexi and the amp, and I've heard it. Sometimes you can get this weird little. Because it's not escaping, because it's trying to throw the sound back, so it's, and I don't want to say quite a phasing thing, but and it just depends on situation. But this lets the sound escape, it redirects it, whereas a flat piece of plexi just you get this ping pong effect sometimes.
Right.
This lets it out, lets it breathe, redistributes it, and like I said, I was stage right the other day. My amp was stage left. I didn't have a problem hearing anything.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Man. So Jeff Smith's been using that shield for like 8 months now.
Yeah.
How's it been holding up?
Great. It's made very well, and it's easy to set up. Stores easily.
Roadworthy.
Yeah, it's definitely roadworthy. No question about that. Because I mean, this is thick.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not.
And by
just
the way, Mark, the little piece you made me for my enhancer for the ToneShield, it's never come off since.
Yeah.
I actually asked him about it the other day. We were playing at the house.
I've actually moved it and carted it around and put it in the car and brought it back in. It's holding just fine.
Good.
Yeah, no
You
problem.
can take it off too. It's not,
Oh yeah,
it's not
but
connected. It's not permanently connected.
Right.
no, but I've just left it on and it's been fine.
Good.
So here again, guys, it's an amazing product, and Kenny and I cannot live without it, and you're going to feel the same way.
No doubt. It's definitely worth the investment.
Sure is. To the point at which if you have a 212, you're going to want 2 of them.
Yeah.
So,
Definitely.
so there we have it, the ToneShield rules.
You need one. Trust
Now.
me.
Not later, now.